Kenysha, presiding over the case Louis Vuitton X Murakami 2025 re-edition launch. Now, Louis Vuitton, the case against you is as such. Client customer pre-orders were canceled. There was poor packaging, as aka non-existent packaging for us normal people. Canceled orders. Page not found. Underproduction inventory. Pop-up stores taking inventory from stores. And most egregious, telling a client who bought their Murakami item that it's the last one in stock, the floor design, and they must give it back. All of this is egregious. Court is now in session. Court is now in session. Justice must be served. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Kenysha. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back, my loves. Welcome back. So I was fortunate enough to be able to scoop up a couple small pieces from the Louis Vuitton X Murakami collection, but there was a lot of people who were not as fortunate. And I initially came out with an initial, I suppose, superficial solution as to how to avoid being a part of the Louis Vuitton debacle launch for the future. You know, they've got cherry blossoms coming. They have cherries coming in June. Later this year, there will be subsequent Murakami launches if you're interested. And my broad solution at the beginning of this entire launch was to try to find a client advisor. So we will get into my reaction to your comments, whether you agree, whether you disagree, and some of the comments just floating around too in the luxury YouTube space. So with that being said, let's get started. There are a lot of comments about this launch, and for every video that has gone up, there are a lot of comments about this launch, whether people are happy with the pieces that they were able to get, or they were mad at the influencers who received special packaging and yet did not even really know the brand or what they were receiving. So therefore had really lacked the appreciation that a true Louis Vuitton or even Murakami lover would have felt for having received something like that, of that magnitude. It would have meant more to someone like me or you watching this who actually cared about that launch than to the influencers who got it for free and basically could probably they don't have a care in the world, and they're probably the same people out there buying the fake bags and influencing that way, and then coming out and saying, oh, but I thought everyone knew that I was buying some real, some fake. No, we don't know that because you're not disclosing that. So I really think that there's a larger conversation that will have to be had around the disclosure, if you will, of dupes or fakes or replicas if you are pushing luxury content, because that is completely inappropriate and completely unacceptable. And the reason why there's a lot of conflation happening in the luxury YouTube niche and space, with a lot of dupe replica content coming into the space where a lot of luxury lovers really want it to be a safe space for true luxury content that is real and authentic. That being said, I wanted to get into this conversation. I'm deep in the comments around Murakami. I wanted to have this conversation around how you guys felt basically feeling rejected by this luxury brand. I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you what you have to do in the future. Now, a lot of people initially disagreed with me, but there was still a lot of agreement around, if you follow my advice, you have a better shot at it working. So it's not me saying this is the easy solution to go after. It's me saying, give yourself every opportunity and chance to obtain what it is you want out of this brand, out of this life, out of this world, by going the extra mile. If you can. It does not detract from the fact that everybody had a very poor experience for the most part. I think if I was doing a poll out there, I would say maybe like 30% of people were happy with what they got. 70% of people were not. If we were doing the 1% versus 99%, it would be 1% of us luxury YouTubers were happy with what we got, whether it was big or small, and the 99% were not. However, the counter argument to this is I have seen a lot of like the channels from above 5,000 having a lot of success talking about the Murakami launch and the pieces and getting a lot of views. But the other side of this is there's so many new people to luxury starting to get views from talking about this collection that I'm starting to see their channels on my feed. Just a lot of new people. I'm definitely taking a look at some of the new channels and falling in love with some new luxury lovers to our luxury loving community, luxury loving YouTube space. Now, that being said, let's get into some of the comments that I received strong reactions, as well as relate them to your comments. So I have a relationship with my client advisor, but I'm not in top 3 tiers of spending. I was not allowed to pre-order. And yes, I was online when it launched. And if you could add to bag, then you got an error message when trying to pay. I've also watched several videos from people who pre-ordered and they were told it was sold out with the pre-orders. Maybe not by the time the website was functional. Everything in my price range was notified me. Okay, so by the time the website was functional for Mary, everything in her price range was notified me. For me, it wasn't a matter of not being prepared. It was a matter of not having enough inventory. So that is the comment there is Louis Vuitton, you didn't have enough inventory to satisfy the masses, which you didn't have enough inventory to satisfy the masses. Now, you guys, I'm going to respond as if I am Louis Vuitton, and in terms of telling you what I have heard from client advisors, meaning they are getting this from Louis Vuitton. This is not on the client advisors, and it's not on you if you didn't score something. It's on Louis Vuitton. So for Mary, it was a matter of Louis Vuitton not having enough inventory. So the response from Louis Vuitton is, and I have seen this floating around from my own client advisor and from others. I asked my client advisor, what do you think about there being any Murakami restock? She says she honestly doesn't know. She would give it another week. She said this collection is insane. I said, okay, wow. You know, there's a lot of upset clients out here. Customers are mad, big mad. She said, I've never seen anything like it. And I said, well, why did Louis Vuitton create such a... Because Louis Vuitton wants to be able to have enough inventory at the pop-up stores, they pulled stock back on the 3rd day of the launch from the in-store experience in order to give it to the people who are waiting for the pop-up stores, to give it to the people who were waiting. So now that we have more information, you know, this is like always updating new information. That's how I feel about this. My response to that is shame on Louis Vuitton, because basically what they were doing is creating the fear of missing out, FOMO. If you're someone who's just shopping out of nowhere, you're walking down the street, you see Louis Vuitton pop-up store, walking past Louis Vuitton, and either way, there's lines wrapped around the building, you're going to wonder. And if you didn't know what was going on, you're going to want to know. You might go and find out. You might ask. You might work up your courage. What it means is all those people who were waiting versus the people who are in the store, in malls like me, the people waiting in line at the pop-up store probably had a higher likelihood of scoring something that probably was pulled back from an in-person store experience for the people waiting in line in malls and things. Mary's correct. It's a matter of not enough inventory. And so the feedback for Louis Vuitton is, I mean, do you guys not have enough project managers on hand, on staff, on duty to properly plan a launch this big, of this magnitude? Now, the response from Louis Vuitton, again, this is coming from client advisor. You got to remember, my response in their perspective is coming from client advisors. But then it wouldn't be limited edition enough, Kenysha. Like Mary, I'm sorry if you didn't get your piece, but that's what we want. We want to make it limited. We're trying to create the environ, the environment of scarcity. We're trying to manufacture scarcity, guys. Isn't that some Hermes type? That's their, like, Louis Vuitton is definitely on their Hermes bandwagon right now. Like, that's an Hermes tactic that I think Chanel tried to pull, but it didn't really work for Chanel because a lot of people turned away from Chanel when their bags started getting over $10,000. A lot of people started pulling back from Chanel when the quality did not match up to that price tag. However, the difference for Louis Vuitton is I have not really seen a lot of commentary and content around quality issues from Louis Vuitton lately. If anything, they have really done a good job marketing the desire for their products using celebrities. I hate to say influencers because I really think that's the wrong audience to push luxury, but they've really gone about using Zendaya in a way that is making Louis Vuitton successful. Zendaya is the new it girl. She is the new Paris Hilton of Generation Z's reality. There's a lot to be said for what's happening with the fear of missing out also probably being tied to someone who's relatively cool and people aspiring to be like her. Recently engaged to Tom Holland, Spider-Man. You know, they're both doing their thing. They're both doing their big ones right now. They're both highly successful. Zendaya is carrying this Louis Vuitton brand on her back. They had Emma Stone before. They've had a lot of celebrities, but Emma Stone's a little bit older now. Zendaya is still in her 20s. You know, they always do this little rotation. So I find it interesting that Louis Vuitton is trying to manufacture scarcity, and we should understand what's going on because it just makes it that much more important to have a client advisor in your back pocket because, you know, my client advisor did say, if you don't have one, it's going to be very hard to get anything. It's going to be very hard. I don't know what to tell you guys. It is the reality. It is the truth. It is not fair. It is not nice. But I'm at least trying to tell you guys so that you can take action in some way. All right, so I want to move on to another community commenter that got a lot of feedback. And I ended up pinning this because it was from Nurse Nuffa, Janelle. Hey girl, hey. And she had a different experience and I want to talk a little bit about it. This is honestly the first launch I actually paid attention to. I actually found a client advisor by chance. I chatted with a representative one day because I couldn't see my wish list. We exchanged numbers and she told me she would text me when the Murakami was launching. She actually texted me on Sunday and told me everything was sold out. I told her what I wanted and she would look out for those items. Weren't even in the same state. I'm just grateful I have a client advisor now. So here's someone who unfortunately couldn't get access to the Murakami collection. But coming out of this, she actually secured a client advisor so that she could be ready for some of the upcoming launches to come. She wants to try to be prepared in her own way, even though she's a little sad, like a lot of people, that she missed out on this collection. Now, there were a couple people who shared their poor experience with me or disagreed with me, and I want to share those comments as well. I want to respond to some of those comments because they also had engaging conversation. You know, just for future notice, I really like the way that this person handled how they felt because they began with, I respectfully disagree, which I can relate. I have been there. I respectfully disagree with a lot of opinions out there. However, we're all human and we all are going to have our own experience. And I'm just about listening to each of our human experience. If there's feedback that we can give to Louis Vuitton to make our future experience a little bit better. Now, I've been bugging different sales associates for a while, regularly at a few stores. It was very different this time. They wouldn't even allow you to order ahead. Also, I did place an order out of state with someone's sales associate who took my full deposit of over $11,000 in the first week of December, On December 30th, I contacted her to ask about the 9 items I ordered, and she couldn't answer any questions about my items, if and when they were coming, shipping. She told me nothing was guaranteed. I had a similar experience. Nothing was guaranteed until launch day, when people were hearing that they got what they wanted or they didn't. Orders canceled, orders validated, orders shipping. I did not like the lack of confidence, knowledge, uncertainty, so I canceled my order. I figured I would just wait and do it online the night before, which is typical of previous launches, not this one. This one was atypical, and you could add items and purchase without problems. This was completely different because the website crashed, customer service was not taking calls, most sales associates in stores all seem to have limited knowledge. I myself saw the page not found error website Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton, again, you might need more than one program manager in shop Louis Vuitton if you need someone to work on the timeline, the sequence of events, line up, and fall according to plan, as well as the website and the mobile experience. Louis Vuitton, we do not appreciate this. I completely agree. As someone who likes technology, like using it and trying to understand and figure it out, Louis Vuitton can't have crash websites like Netflix crashing that Mike Tyson fight. Did you guys see that? I know that was definitely like Kenysha come back to focus. Most everything was gone. A few bags here and there. 3/4 had none. Some didn't even have special packaging or decorations. Ooh, we are going to talk about that. The next day I went to the 5th store and not one thing aside from a few shoes were available. I didn't go to the last store because I had already been communicating with my sales associate there, who I purchased a passport cover and the roomie. I did purchase the carry-all at the 2nd store, but returned it the next day, hoping to get 1 or 2 at least of the other 4 bags and a few SLGs, and I do purchase pretty regularly. I have sales associates at all of the 6 LV stores. I just got the Mirror Speedy and Pooch bag before the launch. Sadly, it's been difficult, and the lack of communication and access to purchase has been frustrating, to say the least. Now, the thing that I said here is, I definitely appreciated her honesty for commenting, but it definitely seemed like we both walked away at least with some pieces that we really wanted from the collection, whereas a lot of people weren't able to. So, I just wanted to be grateful for that. But, I could commiserate on her experience, ensuring that I too didn't get the special packaging. Jerusha. I left a comment on JerushaCouture's page because she unboxed Murakami. She left some comments and feedback. Congratulations on your pieces. And yeah, they definitely dropped the ball on the poor packaging. She responded, and I liked her response because she came back and said, the more that I think about it, Kenysha, I think it was bigger than the packaging. And the more that I think about it, Jerusha, the more I agree with you and all of my community and those who had a poor experience. Like, there's only so much one can do to try to secure what one wants. At the end of the day, the brand is responsible, accountable for whether or not there will be enough of what everyone wants in the way that everyone wants. And I gotta say, they definitely dropped the ball on the packaging, like the inconsistencies of that. I am with a lot of people on feeling like I would want to keep that. It's really special. It's timeless. People who didn't even appreciate it got it. North America, we kind of definitely felt left out a little bit because I think Europe and Australia opened first. What happened to America? What happened to Canada? Guys, I don't know. Like, it's definitely interesting the more and more feedback that surfaces related to this brand, because I'm finding that the experience wasn't great for everyone, and I think that's really sad, And my hope for Louis Vuitton is you guys are better prepared for the future coming launches, because this is sad. I want to go up to another commenter who got 11 thumbs up. Kenysha, I gotta disagree with you because people who pre-ordered were well prepared and should have gotten pieces first, especially since they paid in full. Full stop, period. I agree. Completely out of bounds, people paying, pre-ordering in December and orders being canceled, Louis Vuitton. Completely out of bounds. However, in the end, they are now not guaranteed to get it. So it has nothing to do with not being prepared. This was not like all those other collections. It's not as nostalgic. Well, it is nostalgic. That's why it is so big. As a person that reached out to my client advisor in early December when the lookbook dropped online, I reached out and said, hey, can you let me know if it would be possible to pre-order a few pieces? Please let me know. The day before the launch, he texted and asked what I would like after trying for hours online to get the item. He said, I only have one piece available, and I said, I'll take it. He informed me they got very limited stock like so many other stores. I believe this launch was not like the others because they allowed several tiers to pre-order first, then open to Australia and Europe, and the last the US. I say all that to say, this launch was absolutely messy. Even though I was able to purchase my items, I'm grateful. But Louis Vuitton has put a bad taste in my mouth with how they handle this. Okay, so this launch was messy, and I said at the beginning the reason why is because I found out later now that Louis Vuitton had pulled back from stores in order to serve and provide inventory to pop-up stores around the world, which is definitely poor planning on their part and completely ridiculous. It's just completely out of bounds for a brand this size. But then again, remember, what they're trying to create is a flurry of activity, fear of missing out, the limited edition manufactured scarcity, so that they can do what at the end of the day? Raise prices. You guys best believe at the end of the day, Louis Vuitton is capitalizing on making good returns off of this launch, as well as making good returns throughout the year based on all of this flurry and activity, because there is no such thing as bad news being bad news. All news to these companies is good news. If we're talking about them, it's just driving traffic their way. So you got to understand, guys, like, we do have to be on our P's and Q's. It sucks that people who pre-ordered aren't going to get things. I pre-ordered the Speedy. I didn't get it. I've moved on with my life. We have to learn to move on with our lives. We have to have the right mindset about these things, because there are people in California, in Los Angeles, who have lost everything. Like, guys, I know it sucks, our first world problems, and even America and LA, we're in the first world. But those people whose homes burnt down, just imagine it being ours with all our stuff inside, and just like come back to reality. Like, it's not that serious. We're literally crying and being mad about spending our money. It's like, guys, no, it's like things are bigger in the world than our complaints about not being able to spend our money on frivolous items that we probably really don't need. That I think about, like, what if they burned up like in some fire? Like, I personally think about that. So I don't know. It's definitely runs the gamut, and I understand how everyone feels, but we all have to put it into perspective. Okay. I just wanted to end this video. Definitely understand where everyone is coming from, and that it didn't go as well as expected for everyone. But, just remember, first world problems. There's more launches to come. Hopefully, if people scored things and they really weren't interested as much in the pieces they scored, they'll return it to Louis Vuitton, or they'll release it in some way to people who are really searching and interested in pieces. I have done that. When I've gotten things from the denim collection, someone reached out to me and asked if they could just buy something off of me. I wasn't even using the bag, and I let it go. I did not underprice my bags. I do not do that. It was priced $500 above what I bought it for, to include the fact that I was shipping it out of country, pay the customs. I think we had to split customs, the insurance, whatever. And I wanted to get my money back, taxes and all. But I try not to overly price things. I think, this person has said they had seen the same bag out there for like $1,000 more, crazy prices, guys, $2,000 more than what it had gone for. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that either. So anyway, just here to provide access. Please like and subscribe. If you are with me to the end, drop some heart emojis, some pink heart emojis. I love pink. I love pink. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Help me grow over there. Stay tuned, my subscribers, my members, my top commenters, for future giveaways. Subscribe. I love all the community engagement. Keep it going, keep it coming, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace. Until the next time.